I will be heading to Washington, D.C. tomorrow to meet with President Trump in the White House. It is customary for an incoming mayor of this city to meet with the White House, given the mutual reliance. It's more critical than ever, given the national crisis of affordability, one that New Yorkers know very well across these 5 boroughs, and the specific challenge many cities are facing with balancing public safety against steps taken by this administration. I know that for tens of thousands of New Yorkers, this meeting is between 2 very different candidates who they voted for the same reason. They wanted a leader who would take on the cost of living crisis that makes it impossible for working people to afford living in this city. My team reached out to the White House to set up this meeting because I will work with anyone to make life more affordable for the more than 8.5 million people who call this city home. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers. If an agenda hurts New Yorkers, I will also be the first to say so.
And where do you think you might have the most success with him?
This is an opportunity to make the case for New Yorkers. And it's a case that reflects what New Yorkers are having to live through at this time. When we speak about an affordability crisis, we're speaking about 1 in 4 New Yorkers living in poverty, 1 in 5 struggling to afford $2.90 to ride the bus. New Yorkers for whom the daily acts of life are becoming increasingly harder to afford. And that's an opportunity I have to make the case to President Trump, to the White House, as to what it means to have to suffer through this affordability crisis and what it means to make it even more difficult to do so. I'm not concerned about this meeting. I view this meeting as an opportunity for me to make my case. And I'll make that case to anyone, frankly, as we've been doing over the course of the campaign, and now as I will be the next mayor of this city. It behooves me to ensure that I leave no stone unturned in looking to make this city more affordable. And this is a meeting where I look forward to speaking about the affordability agenda, public safety, and economic security for each and every person that calls the city home.
You waited a new kind of SRG to respond to protests. What are the things you don't agree with?
Right now, my plans are to meet with the president and make the case. As soon as I have any more information, I'll share it. Last year, after the president won his second term, I went to 2 of the neighborhoods that saw the largest swings towards Republicans. And that was Hillside Avenue in Queens and Fordham Road in the Bronx. And when I asked those New Yorkers who they voted for and why, I met many who voted for President Trump, and they told me it was the affordability crisis. It was cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they said that they remembered being able to afford their rent, their childcare, their Con Ed, their public transit more 4 years ago than they could in that moment. And we ran a campaign focused on the same thing, cost of living. And what we found, actually, is that 1 in 10 New Yorkers who voted for Trump ended up voting for our campaign. And they did so because they're looking for leaders to actually deliver on the cost of living crisis. That's why everything comes back to making the case for an affordability agenda. I will meet with anyone. I will speak to everyone, so long as it could stand to benefit an economic agenda for New Yorkers. And that's where I will always make the case. Affordability was at the core of our campaign. And also, it was affordability based on a value of protecting each and every New Yorker. That means protecting them from price gouging in their lives. It also means protecting them from ICE agents and making it clear that I will look to be representing every single person who calls the city home.
Where you might find common ground with the president on the agenda and the case that you want to present?
Being a New Yorker means that you're prepared for all situations, all kind of comments, all kind of commentary. And at the end of it, the focus has to be, what's the case that you're making? Why are you there? And for me, it's not about myself. It's not about a relationship with an individual. It's about a relationship between New York City and the White House, the president, the federal administration. And I will look to make clear that my interest goes beyond any one of an individual. It's for the people that I look to represent. That's the case I'll make.
What about the 2019 criminal justice reform?
This is the only meeting I have to share details on. As soon as I have any more details on it. It's going to be happening tomorrow. Not as yet, brother, but I'll let you know when we do.
Thank you, Mamdani. Love you. Mayor-elect Mamdani is heading to Washington for his long-awaited sit-down with President Trump. Many people wondering if their discussion will diffuse the tension between the two leaders who have openly criticized each other. Political reporter Marcia Kramer is live for us at City Hall with more. Marcia?
Well, just the mayor-elect has endured a lot of slings and arrows from President Trump during the campaign. In fact, the president even threatened to arrest and deport him because he was born in Uganda and still has dual citizenship with Uganda. So given all that, I asked him if he was concerned. I'm wondering, this is probably going to be your first visit to the White House. Are you nervous? Are you worried? Have you mapped out exactly what you're going to say to the President of the United States in your first visit to the Oval Office?
This is an opportunity to make the case for New Yorkers. And it's a case that reflects what New Yorkers are having to live through at this time. When we speak about an affordability crisis, we're speaking about 1 in 4 New Yorkers living in poverty. 1 in 5 struggling to afford $2.90 to ride the bus. New Yorkers for whom the daily acts of life are becoming increasingly harder to afford. And that's an opportunity I have to make the case to President Trump, to the White House, as to what it means to have to suffer through this affordability crisis and what it means to make it even more difficult to do so.
It's very, very important for President Trump and Mamdani to strike up a really good relationship. It's not just about the threat to cut federal aid to New York City. And it's also not about the threats from the border czar, Tom Honan, to have more ICE agents come to New York. But the mayor needs to get security clearance from the federal government so that he can be briefed on terror threats and other law enforcement operations. And President Trump holds the cards for that. Reporting live at City Hall, I'm Marcia Kramer, CBS News, New York.
That's a great point, Marcia. High-stakes meeting indeed. Thank you.